This podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Is it a chill or a ghostly breeze? A knock, a tap, what do you believe? Ghosts, gossip, gather around, where the lost and the haunted are found. Ghosts, gossip, don't make a sound. Truth or tales, we'll dig it out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ghost Gossip. Today I'm joined by John from Splintered Spirits. Hello, John.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you so soon.
Yes, definitely. It was great having you on Splintered Spirits.
It was so nice being on. Y'all are amazing.
Well, thank you.
So I had seen your content before and I had no idea. So just to tell me about yourself, like, have you been in the paranormal world for a long time? Is this something you've been doing?
Yes. So this is something I've been doing for a while. I just never really, did it on social media. And, like most people, life gets in the way. So you take breaks, you go on, you go off. I started off, my first experience was actually, my first adult experience. Let's just put it that way, because we all have
Right.
experience when we're children. And then it's, you could argue if it's a child's imagination, if it's an actual, a paranormal experience happening. So my first adult experience, I was a volunteer firefighter.
Oh.
And I just got elected as a parliamentary officer, and I was secretary. And it was around the time when they were still using old recording methods. They didn't even have a computer, nothing like that. So I was updating everything, bringing everything. This is about early 2002.
Okay.
So I was 18, 19 years old, and, I'm updating their system. I'm getting everything, all the old minutes scribed onto the computer, backing everything up. And there was a lot of late hours with doing this. So, I'm literally sitting at my, at the computer desk, and I see a spirit. Well, I think this is still going to go. So I'll continue telling the story. You're back. I lost you
Yes,
for a
keep
minute.
going.
Okay.
I don't know what
Yep.
happened. That has never happened before.
Well, I'm in a very haunted location, and I'll get into that too. So it could be things getting scrambled.
Okay.
So that's,
It makes sense.
we all know with heavy paranormal locations, equipment acting up is, part of the experience. So I see something looking at me through the parlor doors, and I know nobody's there. I get up, there's nobody there. So I set up the crappy webcam that came with the computer. I ran what we used to record the minutes in the hallway, trying to catch something, a voice, anything. I didn't know what an EVP was at that point. I didn't even know what I was trying to get, but I did all this instinctually, just trying to gather evidence for what I'm experiencing. And this went on for weeks. And then finally, at one of the meetings, joking around, I'm like, yeah, I know. Someone was like, John, you're spending so many hours here. I'm like, I don't mind. I got a ghost keeping me company. One of the guys goes, oh, yeah, that's just one of the old janitors. We've been seeing him for years. And I was just like, wow. So that was my first, okay, I need to get out here and do stuff, right? So little by little, I started doing things at the firehouse, started going to other places. And then by the time Ghost Hunters came out, and I'm seeing all these guys using all this equipment, I'm like, okay, these guys are doing the same thing. They're just doing it a hell of a lot better, right? So let me start doing that. So, I start doing, investigations here and there. But then life gets in the way. Take a couple of years off, couple of years on, back and forth. Then 2009 comes along, and I tried to do a podcast, and it was all over the place too. It had to do with cryptids and aliens and everything, ghosts, spirits. It was fun, but unfortunately I didn't have the capital to pursue it because, these places cost money to go into.
Very expensive, like both paranormal and podcasting.
Yes. Super expensive. So that ends up falling through. Then, as life does, life knocks you down a couple of notches. And I was forced to move my family into this apartment building that I'm in now. And that's where everything just blew up because the apartment building was just so haunted. And, at the time, TikTok was becoming big because this is right at the end of COVID.
Yep.
TikTok blew up during COVID. So I got on TikTok and I'm like, I'm going to live stream what I'm experiencing. And then it just, blew up from there. So that's basically the gist. I mean, that's how it all ended up falling into place. And then I was able to test my theories because of that. Because I have a shit ton of theories. So I was able to start going out in the field and doing things and testing things out and gathering data and documenting my personal experience throughout the entire thing.
Well, the apartment that you're in, this is the same one that you're in currently right now.
Yes.
So it doesn't look like an apartment. Now I'm in the South, so apartments, I don't know what apartments look like where you are from, but it looks really cool. You look like you're like in a parlor or
Yeah.
like it's a vibe.
So thank you very much. So basically the structure that I'm in was built in the late 1800s, and it was built on top of an outpost that was here in the 1700s,
Wow.
and it was a Victorian mansion that then got converted. Well, it went from a Victorian mansion to a temporary hospital for the Spanish flu, and then became an actual experimental hospital, then became a high-end apartment building for a local country club, and then now it's just a regular apartment building. So
Wow.
yeah, it's got a vibe to it. The rooms are big. It's not the best building. People are nice, but it's falling apart because it's so old.
That is definitely a vibe. But it's a really cool just looking at it, because I can only see what's behind you. But I mean, it really is a nice looking place. But yeah, like that
Thank
is
you.
layered history.
Yeah, oh, yeah, all that. Well, and I believe that's what I always say on my live stream. So, you know me from Splintered Spirits, my podcast.
Right.
My nightly live stream is on TikTok. And I go live for hours, anywhere between 9, 10 o'clock to sometimes 3, 4 in the morning. It depends.
Oh, whoa.
Right. And this is what I always say when it comes to locations. There's so many famously haunted locations out there, but the reality of it is there are so many places with micro history that are so saturated and so haunted. It's not even funny, and this is one of those locations.
It's like I tell people, it's everywhere. You don't have to be in a paranormal hotspot to be
Yes.
surrounded by spirit. They are
Yes.
literally everywhere.
Everywhere.
But
Everywhere.
yeah, and you just have to pay attention because they are, I mean, like when you are, I guess when you are in this world and you know what to look for, you can notice it more.
Yep.
But I tell people all the time, like, I can go anywhere and have an experience, but I'm also open to it and I am aware of it. Now, not everything is paranormal, but people are like, oh, I've never had it. I'm like, I'm sure you have, and you've just
You
written it
didn't
off.
realize it, and you just
Yeah.
didn't realize it. Yep, exactly. So, yeah,
Yeah.
no, this place is a prime example of that. I mean,
So
listen, I've live streamed walking down the street. And I said, "Hey, I'm gonna randomly see what spirits are just, on the street while I'm walking." And I've had spirits tell me to jump in front of traffic. Like, yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Aggressive.
like aggressive. So, but yeah, like they're everywhere. Spirits are everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at. There's spirits there. And sometimes they leave you alone. Sometimes they want nothing to do with you. And other times they want everything to do with you.
Well, I was watching one of your videos and you were walking in the woods and it said, John, get out of here, or John, danger, or something. It was like
Yeah.
it was warning you. And you were like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's buck out. That's buck
Okay.
out. Yeah, that's buck out. Well, I try to thank the good spirits, the neutral spirits that do warn me about these things, right? I do try to
Right.
like, hey, thank you very much, spirit, for the warning, because that's still data that, hey, there's something acknowledging that there's something else here.
Right. And they
So,
seem to know you by name.
yes. So one thing that I do differently than a lot of people that are in the paranormal is I stick to the same spots. So I've been going to these spots for years,
Right.
and the spirits, they start to learn, who you are.
They get comfortable with you.
Yep.
And I truly
Oh,
believe that because I've watched so many shows and, meeting people just across the board. And they'll be like, I went there and there was no activity. And other people are like, you went once. Like,
well,
you
once.
need to go back. They just think of them as people. I
Yes.
I don't always talk to people that I don't know.
Mhm.
Most of the time I
Exactly.
don't. Here
Yeah.
I will, but like outside of my little studio here, if I see you on the street, I'm not going to run up to you and be like, "Oh, hey, my name is Ashley and I do this."
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And, I agree. It's the same thing. Well, I've noticed that in the paranormal. People don't treat spirits and ghosts as people.
Yeah. Some
They
people
don't.
don't.
They
It's
don't.
it
There's some
makes me
people that
sad.
claim they do, but the reality is they don't. And I've noticed that the more you treat them like a person, because they are a person. They were, most of them were people, were living.
Right.
They respond to you differently.
Yeah.
They respond to you a lot differently. Now there's always that off chance you're going to get something that was never born here,
Right.
you know?
Was created somehow, some way.
Yep, and somewhere else. So, and that happens too. But for the most part, you're just dealing with people like you and me. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't want to be bothered.
No, there's a lot of times I don't wanna be bothered.
Yeah.
My kids haven't learned that yet. They come and bother me.
All the time. All the time.
It's a blessing and a curse sometimes. I'm like, "Please." I have 2 teenage girls and a teenage boy, and my girls, they are obsessed with me, and I'm like sometimes I'm like, "I love you. Can you ignore me for, like, 10 minutes, please?"
It's so funny you say that when I come here and I'm putting together videos, because I clip all my videos come from my live streams.
Mhm.
When I'm putting them together and I'm at it's the funniest thing. I'm sitting there and I'm trying to listen. Wait, did I just hear that correctly? What that spirit just say? My oldest son, he's 18, will come out and start talking to me. And he will talk to me about the stupidest shit that makes no sense. And I get up, I look at him, and I don't want to be mean. And I'm just like, "Can you shut the up for 2 seconds? What is this even about?" He goes, "Oh, I don't even know what I was trying to tell you." And I'm like, "Dude, where were you 5 minutes ago or 5 minutes from now?" Like, why right? It's funny. That's what they do.
They always know. My girls, they know, like, if I'm up here working, I'll be up here, and I try to do my interviews during the day because 'cause they're not here,
Yep,
but,
yep.
people work, so it's not always that way, and so they
Yes.
get home from school, and they just come and stare at me, and I'm like, "What?" If I'm interviewing, I'm like,
Yeah, it's funny. It's
"Yep."
funny. That's to say that's teenagers.
It is, and, people keep telling me, they're gonna hate you, they're not gonna talk to you, you need to enjoy it," and I'm like, "When does that start? Because mine don't hate me yet."
You know, I've been hearing that all my life. It's so funny you bring that up. Out of all the people I know and all my peers, I was one of the first ones to have a kid,
Right.
right? And everyone's like, "You're gonna ruin your life. You're gonna throw your life away. You're not gonna be able this. You're not gonna be able that." And then I'm like, 5 years in, I'm like, "What the hell are these people talking about?" It
Yeah.
seems that everybody likes to tell you how to parent or what your life is gonna be like or what your children are gonna be like based off their experiences before
Yes.
you even get to live yours.
That's very well put because that's
Yeah.
exactly right. I think the best advice I got was from a Baptist preacher's wife, and I'm not uber religious, but I was at the same it's like I needed to meet her,
Yep.
the universe always guides you where you're supposed to be, but
Mhm.
she and I were talking one day, and I had just become a stay-at-home mom, and I worked for, like, nearly 20 years before I went to become a stay-at-home mom, so I was learning, and
And
it
the
was a
court system,
really
correct? It was the court
Yes.
system, yes.
Yes. So it was a huge transition to go from being somebody who was important within the core system to just a mom at home, And I was really struggling. And this lady just out of nowhere came to me and was like, "Oh, your daughters are beautiful, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah, they're really good girls." And she said, if you're there, they'll talk to you. And it just kind of like surprised me because I don't know this lady. And we started talking more. And I think not that I'm a better mother. Not better than anybody, but I think what sets me apart from, like, other people that I know that have kids my age is I listen to my kids, like
Yeah, yeah.
and sometimes I'm like, "Do you need a mom or do you just need to vent? Because I am mom first, but if you don't want my advice, I will just sit here and listen." And
And
most of
listen.
the times, that's all they need.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true. It's funny, the best advice I ever got was from a 85-year-old black woman, okay, who straight up said to me, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "John, when your child is sleeping, turn a fan on low and leave it in the corner of the room, and you will never have a problem with your child waking up in the middle of the night." And I looked at her and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna take that advice." She's been a family friend for years. And, I'm like, "I'm gonna take that advice," right? And, what do you know? With all of my children, I've actually had to wake them up to feed them at night because of that. Because it's that low vibration, that sounds
Yes.
like the mother's womb and whatnot. That was the best advice I ever got because I never had a problem not sleeping.
Oh, I've always had issues sleeping, but I'm the type too, I need a fan on. Have you
Oh, I
I'll
sleep
be
with a
like,
fan. I sleep with a
"I
fan.
need that fan."
Yeah. Oh, I sleep with a fan. My wife hates it. My wife can't stand it. She
My
doesn't need
husband
it.
didn't like it either.
Yeah, But it's just like, nope, you want me in the same bed as you? You want me in the same room? This fan is on.
Yeah, and then, like, you'll be laying there and you'll be sleeping really good and the power goes out and you hear it. It's just that click,
Wake
and
up.
it's like,
You wake up. Yep. You wake up immediately. Yep.
"Yep."
I know it. Or my wife will try to sneak and turn it off or turn it low.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And it's like, it's, you need that. Like, oh, I'm there with you
Yep.
100%.
My husband likes to turn the living room fan off. We have a remote, and he will be really sneaky and really quiet about it, but I'll be sitting there and I'm like, "Did you turn that down?"
You
And
know?
he's like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "I just know. I feel like I'm suffocating. Leave me alone. Leave the fan on. Put a jacket on. Come on."
Well, and I bet you it's the same thing. Like you can walk into a room that has a TV on and the screen's black and it looks off, but you're like, the TV's on. You know, you hear that. You just hear that
Mhm.
sound from the equipment,
Mhm. The buzz.
the buzz.
The
Yeah, the buzz.
buzz.
Some people can't hear that buzz, but
Yes. I hear it.
some
It drives me crazy. So are you a full-time content creator now, or do you
yes,
Okay,
yes,
wow.
yeah, yep, yep, yep.
I was gonna ask you because I guess I am. It is content creations, like, podcast art, but I'd I've never gone viral, and I know you have, so I have a question just because of my
Mhm.
own curiosity.
No, of course.
Because I'm like, I don't know if I ever wanna go viral, but
Yeah.
what was your most viral moment? Was it one of your graveyard videos?
Yes. So I have two headstone cleaning videos that went, and it was from the same headstone cleaning that went super viral. I think it was over 25 million views.
Wow.
Yeah, and those were two of them. But normally, and those were like, I call those like the mega viral videos, right?
Right. Mega, mega.
My normal viral videos, when I get them, are anywhere between 1 to 3 mil in views. And depending on the platform, now I'm multi platform, now I'm everywhere. The Book of Faces, the Grams, you name it, I'm everywhere. So I randomly get these viral videos at like a couple mil here, a couple mil there. But yeah, it was those two. They were headstone cleaning videos. And
So
then the one after that was when I was working in a cemetery fixing one up, and a spirit got kind of racist with me, so
oh, no.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It went viral. But hey, that video ended up helping pay for the equipment and everything needed for that cemetery. So
Well, that's awesome.
there was yeah. It was a what back when TikTok actually paid you money.
I
They
am
don't.
not a fan of the talk.
Yeah, yeah, they don't. What's it called? Listen, I built my entire platform on TikTok.
Yeah.
Right, and it wasn't until maybe 5 months ago? No, it was September of last year that I started branching out on other platforms.
When the update happened.
When the yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
I was like, I need to, I am not just TikTok, right?
Right.
I'm not just TikTok, and now, I'm getting there. I'm almost 300,000 on the grams, over
Oh,
160 on
awesome.
the Book of Faces. So it's getting there. I'm building up, but it's just
You really are.
consistency.
Yeah.
It's consistency. Even more than getting a viral video, you gotta be
Oh, yeah.
consistent, which is hard with the paranormal.
It is because
It's hard.
I mean, unless you're just gonna fake your crap, like if you're gonna fake stuff, then sure, it's easy. But if you are genuine and you are genuinely out there trying to talk and learn and grow and create this content, they are not performing monkeys.
No, they're not, and I say that all the time in my live.
I do too.
Someone's like, "Can you get the spirits to speak?" And it's like,
Janice, sit down.
"Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No,
I don't have any special abilities. I'm just a dude.
I'm just a dude. I'm
I'm
just
just
a dude.
I'm just a dude. I can't get them to do anything. But it's consistency, and this is what I always say: you have to have a personality, right?
Yes.
You'd be surprised a video of just you speaking about something
Mhm.
could hit. So it doesn't necessarily have to be paranormal. And it's funny talk about faking paranormal content. I know a lot of creators in this field. I break them down into three categories.
Right.
They're either 100% fake, they go the 50-50 route, or they're 100% real,
Mhm.
right? The ones that are 100% real are nowhere near the ones that are 100% fake.
Yes.
And then you get the ones in the middle. And I understand where they're coming from. I had a good friend that was like this, and he passed away. So he no
Oh,
longer does this. But and faking his content had a bit to do with that, because his community did turn on him and it was a lot of stress for him. But his whole mentality was, hey, I need to entertain my people. And if the
right.
spirits aren't doing it, I need to do it.
Right.
My clap back to him was, hey, you don't need to fake your content to do that. Your personality is already great.
Mhm.
Just be a internet personality, you know? And it was so good. I've noticed that with content creators. You're either
Yeah.
100% fake, you're either 50-50, or you're 100% real. And the problem with the paranormal community is everybody judges everybody,
Gosh, yes. I know we
right?
touched slow we t I don't like talking about drama. I know we touched briefly on it last week, and Lord, and I told my husband after because he was watching, it was the first one he's ever watched of me live, and he's like, "You did so good." And I was like, "I don't think I did good." He's like, "You
Oh,
did
you did
so
great.
good."
Are you talking about Splintered Spirits?
Yes.
Oh, you know, you did great. You did great.
Oh, thank you.
I listen, I don't believe in the paranormal community. I've been on record saying that a bunch of times. I know a lot of people don't like it when I say that, but it's the truth. There is no such thing as the paranormal community. Everybody's out to get everybody. There's a
I
small
hate it.
margin of people that believe that the tide rises all the ships, right? There's a small margin of people that believe that. I'm one of them, you're one of them, and there's a couple others. The rest are you're fake. You're fake. Oh, that video went viral. Oh, that's got 100,000 views. That's fake. It's insane.
It makes me so sad.
Yeah. And I used to call myself the black sheep of the paranormal community all the time before I completely removed myself from it.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like, all right, you know what? No, I'm not in this vein. I'm going to
Yeah.
keep doing me and keep doing my, I'm going to try to set an example, and I get that all the time too. People are always coming in my chats. What do you think of so and so? What do you think of so and so? And it's like,
Don't.
for example, Zach Baggins, prime example. And he's fake. He's this, he's that. And it's like, yo, well, number one, heavy is the crown. Okay. That's number one. Heavy is the crown. Number two, do I believe in half of the stuff he claims he's speaking to? No, I do believe he's speaking to something. I just don't believe it's what he claims it is. And that's okay because I'm allowed to have an opinion on it. He's
That's right.
allowed to have his interpretation, especially because it's
Exactly.
coming from him. And, just because we disagree there doesn't mean I'm going to turn around and bash the dude.
Exactly. Like, I tell my kids all the time, and, they're middle schoolers, they're going into high school, and they haven't figured out you can disagree and not hate. Like
Yes.
like, trying to teach them that, but then I turn around and adults are doing it, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I can't teach them, so let me just teach my kids. Let me just worry about my kids.
Just worry about your kids. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
allowed to disagree. Not everybody's gonna agree with you. Not
Yeah.
everybody's gonna wanna do what you're doing. Not everybody's gonna want who's gonna believe you, and that's fine. As long as you're living a true life and you are true to yourself, that's all that matters.
And it's wild that you say that. Like, I have an amazing community that I built. The Santa Paranormal community is phenomenal. They have my back. They support everything that I do. Do they agree with my views? No, they don't. They really don't. They they all believe in a higher power. I don't. I'm an atheist. The majority of them believe in a higher power.
Right.
The majority of them believe that spirits and ghosts are one thing. I believe that they're memory. Nobody believes what I believe in, and that's cool. They still support me. They still love, and I still respect
They
their beliefs as
support
well.
you.
Yes,
That's yep. I was just
yes.
talking to I had my episode that dropped Monday. We were talking about beliefs, and she identifies as a witch, and she loves it, and she was asking me because I don't consider myself that, but I know that what I do, my tarot cards, my pendulums, my dowsing rods, that kind of leads me into that middle ground between the two. And she was asking me about how my family and my friends have been accepting of that. And it was like, the way I operate is I love my friends because of who they are, not because of their beliefs. I support them because of who they are and because of how they support me. It's that two-way street. We have different beliefs. We don't always agree, but it's not their beliefs that I love about them. Now,
Exactly.
if they treat people shitty, then I'm not going to associate because I don't agree with the behavior.
Yes, yes, yes. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to.
That's right.
It's
We
the
can have
behavior.
different beliefs. That's okay. There's not this whole country was built on different beliefs.
Yep, yep. Well, with the paranormal, as you know, it's not like that, unfortunately. It
I
is.
know. I'm pretty isolated and I have friends in the community. I keep my circle pretty small, but I have learned that don't want to hook my horse to anybody. Like will support, like I'm very supportive. Anytime I interview somebody or they interview with me, I am constantly like they're like another part of my ghost gossip family. Like I now support you completely and I will push your stuff out. I comment, I like, reshare, whatever. They become like in my orbit, you know? But
Yeah.
do I need to talk to them every day? No. Do
No.
they need to share my stuff? No, it's not tit for tat. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I do it because that's who I am as a person. And I also believe that what the energy you put out in the world is going to find you. So if I'm supporting my friends, support's going to come back.
Well, plus you're doing it organically.
Absolutely.
You're
Yes.
doing it organically, and that's what you want. You don't want somebody just constant. Because I've noticed that, like, certain people can put out complete garbage, and there's a group of people that are just gonna constantly share it out regardless. And then if you notice those people, they don't get any attention because what they're sharing and what they're putting out there is garbage from the source. Do it organically,
Hmm.
and there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yep. It's the ones I respect and that like because I have an amazing group of podcasters that we all support each other and they put out some amazing stuff. And we're all small. Like we're all relatively small. And I don't mind being small because to me, I feel like I don't have that pressure that some maybe larger creators. I was going to ask you about that. Like once you become viral, do you feel that pressure?
It's so funny you asked that question.
You think I'm a psychic, huh?
I just went through that. So here, I'm gonna break it down like this. With TikTok, there is something called fragments, and it's a ranking system. The more gifts and more money you make, the higher your rank.
Mm,
Now, the backstory with that is my account on TikTok is destroyed. Yeah, sure. It might be 1.1 million followers on there, but the reach is tanked. And
yeah.
that is because for years I was mass reported, right? For
Yeah.
years. And the algorithm doesn't forget. So, and I still get reported now, but now the system is different. So when I go live, another creator can go live. They can have 50,000 followers. They can have thousands of people in their chat. They can be in the low ranking, no taps, and the TikTok is pushing their live out there. I'll go live, and my community has to tap the shit out of that screen, has to share the live, and we have to keep a certain ranking, which is the fragments. What was starting to happen was I was getting so overwhelmed with trying to meet this percentage for the fragment. It was bogging me down. I just
Yeah.
wasn't having fun. And everyone was able to tell. And the worse it got, the harder it was to maintain where we needed to maintain. And then one night, it was actually Valentine's Day, right? I was already sick as a dog. I wasn't feeling well to begin with. We went on, obviously I hung out with my wife. She got tired. So I was like, all right, let me go. I'll go live. So I go live. We didn't get the fragment. I'm sick as a dog. And I said, I'm done with this. I said, I'm done with this. I'm done.
Yeah.
I apologized to the community. I said, guys, listen, I don't care about this anymore. Some of you might not be able to get into my live stream because we're not meeting that standard for the algorithm. And I'm okay with that. And it breaks my heart to say it. But if I don't change this, I'm done with all of this because I am not having fun. I can't do this properly if I'm not having a good time.
Yeah.
And then we switched up how we do things. And since day one of doing that, which was only last week, it has been explosive.
Good.
I've been having so much fun. And
Good.
what do you know? The fragment that we've been trying to save every night, it's already saved by the time we start the live stream. There's
Good.
no fighting to save it. It's already done. Right? It's not we don't even bring them up anymore. Like it's just and it's
Yeah.
all and I gamified it to the point where it's like, okay, guys, we hit this. What do you guys want to do next? I put the
Mm.
stream in their hands.
Oh,
What do you
that's great.
yeah. What do you guys want to do? You want to use a spirit board? You want to fire up these spirit boxes? You want to move to a different location, within the breakfast state? You take your pick. Whatever you guys want to do, we put it to a vote and then we do it.
You know, it's funny you said something, and I've always wondered, but I didn't know because I'm not I mean, what? I, like, think I'm almost at 3,000 on TikTok. Now, I just started my Facebook probably about 6 months ago, and I'm almost at 2,000, so that's grown relatively
Nice.
fast for me, like because
Yeah.
I'm relatively small, and then I have 3,300 on Instagram. So I am, I'm small,
You-
and I'm okay
Are
with that
you, how often do you post?
every day.
Every day? Is it multiple posts or just one post?
Instagram, usually maybe 2. I'm not a huge poster because I don't like feeling that connected all the time to people
Okay.
because
Okay.
of my sensitivities and just my personality. But being an empath, when I'm that connected, it wears on me and I can't be my true self.
Okay. No, it's very understandable.
Yeah. And I don't like people feeling like they know me. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to know Ashley, the podcaster, but I don't want people feeling like they know my personal life because they don't.
And to be honest with you, the bigger you get, the more they're gonna wanna know.
I know. And
The
it's, and you
more
know,
they're gonna wanna know, and they can get very invasive,
yes,
and people on the internet don't have boundaries.
I know. That's
Do
what
you
I've
know
learned.
have you ever heard of the blue Bodie?
No.
Okay, the blue Bodie, look her up, and she would make an excellent guest for you too. She's phenomenal. She said it the best. And I'm gonna paraphrase what she said. People see you every day. They talk to you every day in a live format, and they get very comfortable with you.
Hmm.
And they assume that they can cross boundaries that normally wouldn't be crossed.
Hmm.
And it gets very, very, very weird. And it happens for me all the time. And everybody knows it. You see it on my face while I'm live, or you hear it in my voice if it's not facing me. Like
Right.
if someone crossed that boundary, I'm like,
Yes.
that's weird. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yes, I've been on an interview before and he crossed a boundary and it was like, but we weren't live, but I never watched that interview because I couldn't. I was so uncomfortable and I'm sure it was all over my face because I don't have a poker face. If it's going on in here, you're gonna see it on my
yeah,
face.
yeah, me too. Me too. You're
And
gonna hear it and you're gonna see it. Yep.
he was interrogating me and it's kind of like when Gary asked about the drama, I was like, "Ugh, ugh," because
Yeah.
that's something I don't like to talk about. I won't talk about it. I don't name names. Like, I just don't. And I told my husband, I was like, I shouldn't have even addressed it. I shouldn't. He's like, he asked, you answered, you did great. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
like, it's one of those things. It's like, I've had a stalker before. And I've
Oh,
had people harass
worse.
me online before. And so and because I worked for the federal court system, I know how much gets put out there. So, like, I'm very selective about what I put, especially of my kids, my daughters being that age. I used to put pedophiles away for a living. So,
Mm.
like, I'm really, really particular about what I put out of them, but I've gotten to the point where I'm protective of myself. So I'm trying to like navigate that because I've had people say, "You have such a pretty face. You have such a pretty face." And I'm like, "I'm more than my face, thanks."
Yeah, right. And it's funny you say that because when it comes to my safety, I could care less, right? I care about my family's safety and their privacy.
Exactly.
And even before all of this, I would ask my wife, hey, do me a favor. Don't post the children on the internet.
No, don't.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I was like, you don't understand. Like, I hate to say it like this, but when you post, and this goes for everybody, when you post your children on the internet, especially in the summer and on vacations,
Yes.
you are adding, and I hate to say it like this, you are adding to a pedophile's banquet of content,
Yep.
and you don't even realize it.
You're exactly right. You're
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it it's insane. So, like, I
Oh, yeah.
urge people at the digital footprint, right? I urge people just to, my
Yep.
my family, friends, everybody, like, "Hey, don't
Yeah.
do this." Like,
I've had to tell my girls, I'm like, I know we live because they want TikTok. I won't give them TikTok. They do have Instagram. They are not allowed to post videos of themselves. They're not allowed to post lip singing or anything like that. And I'm like,
yeah,
girls, you have to realize. And so our son doesn't really post anything. So once it becomes a problem, we'll address it. But with them, they were posting lip singing videos and they were being all like, they look older than they are. And I'm like,
yes.
no, 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 no,
Yep.
no. Let me explain. And I'm very honest. And some people might think I'm too honest with my girls, but I grew up.
You can never be too honest with your kids.
And my mom listens. Hi, mom, I love you so much. But my parents didn't tell me anything. They
Um,
still, I'm 41, and still sometimes they don't tell me things I need to know. And
yeah.
so with that I've kind of overcorrected where if my girls want to know in an age appropriate way, I explain things to them. But when it
Mhm.
comes to internet safety, I'm like, listen, listen. I have seen the monster that you think is going to roll up in a white van. He's not. He's coming at you through the internet,
Yes.
pretending to be somebody that they're not
Yes.
before. And I say, a grown up, anybody who is a grown up man or woman want to hang out with you, that's not saying that you are cooler than you are. No, no, no. There's something wrong with them. You need
There's
to
something
ask
wrong with
yourself,
them.
why
Yes.
does this adult want to spend time with a 13 and 14-year-old? There is something wrong.
Yes.
You are beautiful. There's something wrong with that grown up who's showing you attention. And oh my gosh, no
Yeah.
adult should ever tell you to keep a secret. No adult should
Yeah.
ever ask you for help. Gosh, we have had because
Yeah.
where I worked, we did trainings, and I'm telling you, I put away so many sex offenders, and they don't look what you think they look like.
It's funny. The reddest flags look blue, you know?
Yep. You got that right. Yep. And yep. How did we get here? This is a family podcast now, everybody. Welcome.
Right? Hey, listen, we're giving it advice in the digital age here.
That's right.
You know?
So, how to just kind of like get us back on the
Yeah,
track here?
yeah,
How are you received when you are clean? Because I know right now it's snowing up there. I think where y'all are
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
We just had over 20 inches.
Holy crap!
It's
My
insane.
God, how are you received when you are out in the graveyard cleaning up or the cemeteries? You're cleaning up. You're scrubbing the headstones. How are you received by the living?
So it depends. The people that work at the cemetery, they love me there, right? They love it. They love it. I'm very respectful. I have a certain, I don't go into the newer sections. I only take care of the older sections. Same thing while I'm communicating. I only do, old sections. There's no point from the way I look at it is there's no point for me to go into a new part of the cemetery and communicate with the dead. That's what the living's for. They have their loved ones. Jeremiah Brown doesn't have his family
They're
anymore.
all
They're
gone.
gone.
Yeah.
They're gone, you know? And that's another thing that a lot of people don't wrap their head around. They don't get that families disappear. All you need,
Yeah.
especially back then, traditionally, all you need is to have 6 girls, and there goes your last name. There goes your everything. They're being married off, and you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
these families are disappearing. So I stick to the older headstones. So the living are great. Every now and then, I may get somebody who's living that doesn't agree with what I do, and they will start harassing. But most of the time, we get them removed. I had one lady run over 2 headstones. She wasn't paying attention. She went off an embankment and she plowed into 2 headstones because she was too busy filming me and watching me. We got her kicked out of the cemetery. I was like,
Well,
that's the lady. I went to the management. I'm like, that's the lady that keeps harassing me. And now she's running over headstones.
well, doesn't she look foolish now?
Oh, I have all the videos. I have it in a 4-parter on my TikTok
Oh my
because I was
gosh.
live. I was live when the whole thing happened.
Oh my gosh.
So the
Joke's on
living,
you.
yeah, right.
Whoa.
And sometimes I'll get people that'll come up to me and be like, "Hey, I saw your video. I'm here visiting so and so." I actually met one of my mods that way. In the old section, there's a strip of new headstones because they had some land. So they offered the sections there. So there is a strip of new headstones that runs through the old section. And one of my mods, his family's buried there. And that's how I met him. He was
Okay.
like, "Hey, listen, that's my cousin's headstone." And I'm like, "Oh." And then we started talking, and now he's one of my moderators.
That's awesome. I see. I love stuff like that. So how do the dead respond to you? Is it like a mixed bag of responses?
It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed
Like,
bag.
what are you doing?
You think of the way people are. Imagine this is the way I like to tell people. Imagine 10,000 people, okay, in one large place,
Right.
seeing one man do something. You're going to get some that are going to be like, "Oh, that's awesome." You're going to get some that could care less. You're going to get some that are like, "Yo, do mine next." Yep, yep. Pick me, pick me. You're going to get some that are going to be very angry that I'm there, that I'm bothering them.
Right.
So it's a mixed bag. It's very mixed. I mean, it's insane. I've cleaned so many headstones, I don't even remember the number, but I had 2 spirits who stopped me in the middle of cleaning the headstone because they didn't want it done. And funny enough, they were uncle and nephew. They were uncle and
They're
nephew. It was
related.
yeah, they didn't like it, and all the crap I got from that, forget about it, because that's the other thing too. When you're taking just a snippet from your live stream,
Yeah.
they're not seeing the minute before and the minute after.
Oh yeah.
So people automatically assume like it's what, and then you
Context is
got,
important.
yes, yes, very important. So, and that goes for walking in a cemetery too. It's the same thing. You get so many different spirits that are, some want you there, some don't want you there, some could care less.
Yeah. Yeah. My haunted house, my ghost didn't want me there, but like the spirit that Al, he passed away in this house and he's still around. He hangs out. Like he doesn't even care that we're here.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to say residual because I have seen him before. So, and he was standing in the living room kind of looking at us like, what are y'all doing? But so he's not so much a residual. He doesn't interact with us, but he is present every once in a while. It's like he'll come in, check things out. My friend who's a really talented medium, she sees him back here. And so like, he is present, but he doesn't care that we're here. He doesn't care what we're doing. He's just here, you know? He's just here. But my last house ghost, he was a poltergeist. He did not like me. He did not want me there. He did not like that I bought his house. He didn't like that I had kids and animals in his house. He didn't like that I remodeled his house. He was very opinionated.
Well, that's the problem. It wasn't his house anymore.
I
You
know,
know?
but we still call it Wayne's house still to this day
And
because it never felt ours,
it
ever.
never felt, yeah, yeah, that's the other side of the coin, if you will, when these things happen.
Yeah.
What's interesting enough, I don't believe in residual energy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't believe in residual energy. I think it's one of those cop out things. I'll give you an example of this. Poo balls cracking, right? Somebody
Yeah.
breaking poo balls, and they'll hear it at 1 a.m. every night. Okay. That's residual because it always happens, and there's nothing intelligent with it. And it's like, I wonder what would happen if you tried to disrupt that game.
Would it still just be something that's happening, or would it something else happen and trigger an actual response?
Exactly, and a
I
lot of
get
these
that.
times with residual hauntings, those things aren't tested.
I can
It's
see
like
that. That
it's
makes
like
sense.
go as far as to try to interrupt this and see exactly how it goes down,
That
right?
makes
Either
sense.
either mimic the activity and see if that triggers it, like, "Wait a minute, you're playing a game?" or something. Because I've always noticed that, like, residual energy is residual until it starts interacting with you,
Until it's not.
until it's not.
That's what I tell people. I'm really nice until I'm
Yeah.
not.
Until you're not. So it's just it's one of those things where I try not to fall into that vein, with it
Okay.
because I don't like getting, caught up in it. I have a lot of crazy theories.
What's
A
the
lot of
craziest
crazy
one?
theories.
Like in your mind or the way people have responded, what's the craziest one?
So the craziest one is that spirits are memory. Spirits are
So I
memory.
said something similar.
It is basically that when we die, the memories and our
Mhm.
consciousness is expelled from our body through the decay rate. And whether there is a hidden particle in physics we haven't seen yet, or it's just that memory being encoded on electrons, the only way that would actually happen is if the electrons were spinning fast, which could happen.
Right.
We don't know how it expels out. We know very little about death and what happens other than us decaying. That our consciousness and our memory are imprinted on either a spiritual particle or an electron particle or another type of particle. And when certain elements come together, that's how we get our range of spirits. So, for example, if you get if I'm walking in a factory and I come across a spirit and the spirit's like, I got to get these orders filled, and it's like, all right, you get those orders filled. Great. Now, if I'm walking in that same factory and I come across a spirit that yeah, he has to get his orders filled, but he also has memories of his parents, memories of his children. Is more conscious. He has more of his conscious put together. He's going to be like, I have to get these orders filled. But hey, John, how you doing? You see, and that's the difference. So instead of all these like layers of ghosts, it's more, no, that one has more memories intact.
That
That
makes
one's
sense.
that one's more well put together. And my data has actually shown this. And people always ask me, John, how are you so good at communicating with spirits? You have to be some sort of techno medium. And it's like, no, I just know when to strike. I just know when to strike. Hear this the way the spirit's talking. And it's like, okay, you're way more than just whatever memory this is. I can have a conversation with you. Let me engage you. And that's the way, that's actually how all the, everything that I do is based off of.
I was
So
gonna
now,
say, I bet you're like that with people, live people as well.
yes. Yeah.
I
Oh,
can see
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And I'm trying to get the right words here. I don't like to pry. I like to sit back
Mhm.
and I like to listen to what's going on. And I don't assume. That's one of the big the paranormal has many big banes, I call them, right? Audio and visual pareidolia are two of the biggest. Even I can't sometimes differentiate the difference. And I'll say it. I don't know what this was. This is
Same.
what it is. And then the other one is the assumptions. Like I'll be live and then all of a sudden, like a spirit named Frank will come through. Hi, I'm Frank. It's like, what's up, Frank? Someone in the chat. That's my dad. Why is it your father? My
There's only
dad's
one
name is
Frank
Frank.
ever
Okay.
to exist, only one.
Yeah, exactly. So you tell me only one Frank has ever existed on this planet and it's your dad? Or like, for example, a spirit will sit there and be like, it'll say one word, head, then another spirit comes through, knife. Someone will sit there and be like, oh my God, the spirit got stabbed in the head.
Yep.
And it's like, wait a minute. How do you know that? What if one spirit's saying they have a headache because I'm being too loud, and another spirit's looking for a steak knife to cut his meal? You know what I mean? Like,
Or to stab me with it.
or to
Hey.
stab me with it, right? Because I'm being too loud. But we don't know. We
Right.
don't know. So assumptions are another big bang, when it comes to the paranormal. And so these things while I'm live, I try to eliminate. I try to eliminate. But there is a certain degree of, I guess, like the first rule of advertising, keep it simple, stupid, kiss. You have to dumb yourself down a little bit. You do. You really do. And I talk, it's like, I'm not saying anything new that I don't say on the live stream. Like, you have to.
No, it
You
makes
have
sense to
to.
me. I love it.
Yeah, you have to. You have no choice, especially for people to relate and to understand because this can get very confusing really, really quick.
Yes. I think one of my biggest issues with paranormal shows, like on YouTube, like where they're going out and they're big production types, is they're creating a narrative based on the evidence that they've received in however long they've been there. And it takes this turn like they're trying to solve a mystery. And by the end of the show, they're like, we solved it. And I'm like, what? No, you didn't. Like,
That
we don't know. There's no way to know what you're saying is true. You're
Yep.
just taking the words that you've gotten and you're creating the narrative that you want your video to go in, which I mean, I'm entertained. But why are you forcing the narrative?
And it bleeds into other things too, right? Like, I can't tell you how many times someone in my live stream will be like, "Hey, John, where's Peter?" And I'm like, "Peter? Who the fuck is
Who's
Peter?
Peter?
Who's Peter?" That's the spirit that came through last night. That Peter, oh, I don't know. Who says they're going to come through again tonight? You know, this isn't a TV show.
That's funny. Like, who the fuck is Peter?
It was Peter. So
What?
I get that a lot too. And it's like, just because one night I'm here, a group of spirits are speaking, doesn't mean the next night those spirits are going to be speaking. They're not here to tell us a story. And if spirits are memory, that's a very complicated thing
Yes.
because the majority of what they're speaking about is going to be from their memory. Now, what's really interesting about spirits being memory is I break that theory into old memory and new memory. Because it's like, wait a minute, how do spirits gain new memory? Well, it's very simple. If a spirit remembers that they were a welder and they had a wife and 4 children, and then all of a sudden remembers that, oh, hey, that's John. Well, that's a new memory.
You're a new memory because you weren't a memory when he was alive.
Exactly. Now, the crazy thing is, if I remove myself from the situation long enough, now there's no time frame for this. It could take a day, it could take a month. The spirit forgets who I am.
Really?
That memory disappears. And I believe that's a stimulus. I believe that because there's no longer an actual synapses, neurons firing, memories being created in a physical brain, what takes the place of that is the person. So if I remove myself from the equation, the spirit forgets who I am. And I've had this happen to me plenty of times.
I've had one spirit remember me after 2 years. And that was my
Wow.
only experience with that spirit when I went to the Crescent, Michael. When I went to the Crescent in 2024, I didn't know I was the gifts that I had. I knew I was sensitive. That's it. Like, I'm just intuitive, whatever. But I didn't realize how they would grow or adapt. I never thought that would be possible for me. You know what I mean? And so when I went back this year, I went with one of my medium friends who she can hear them. I can't hear them.
What's that called? What Claire is that? That's Claire Audient?
She
When you can hear them?
Yes, she's clairaudient, and I have a tad of clairaudience, but, like, she can hear them like you and I are talking. She can hear them like that, whereas I sometimes they will push through words that I can hear, but it's very rare that I'll hear them like you and I. But I feel I can pick up on their energy. I'm very good with clairsentience. Like, that is, like, my strongest one, like, the energy. I have some other ones. I don't even know. There's so many of them. I don't even know how many there are anymore, but she picked up on Michael, and I was like, ask him if he remembers me. And she goes, and she kind of stopped and she goes, he said, you knew I was there. And so I was like, he did remember me. Okay. Cause he groped me a little bit.
Yeah.
He caressed the backside of my arm and I felt fingertips and I was changing and I thought it was my husband. And I was like, my husband was in bed and I was like, oh.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, maybe I tried to write it away, like just explain it away. It was my hair. It was article clothing. It was a spider. I don't know. But so I was like, ask him because I do trust her. With psychic mediums, you truly have to trust the person you're talking to.
Yes, 100%.
Right, and I was like, "Just ask him," and she's one of those that I do trust completely. There's just too many evidence that I've had with her to doubt her, and she just stopped and she goes, "He said you knew it was him. You knew he was there." And so I was like, "Okay," and that was 2 years in between my trips. So I was like, "That's I'll take it."
Yeah, yeah,
Hey.
yeah. You left an impression.
Hey, yeah.
You left an impression.
I guess so. Lord have mercy. Well, he got to see me naked.
Yeah, yeah. Well, oh, that's the other thing too. No one ever talks about that, right?
Oh
No one
god,
ever talks
it's
about that.
so uncomfortable.
These spirits,
They're
right?
pervs.
They are. I mean, let me tell you something. It's funny because I deal with spirits hitting on me constantly.
I've had it.
Men, women, it doesn't make a damn difference.
Get it, John.
They will,
Hey.
right? We joke around. We call it the spiritual riz. It has to. And I tell people, it's like, well, that's my personality. Like I go out there. I'm like, I'm a person. Like I don't like people, but I'm very well dealing with what cat ball. It's funny. You weren't even moving.
I was gonna say that might have been me. I'll have to watch it back because I
I
hit
didn't.
my
I mean,
table, but I can
yeah.
hit my table and hurt it not go off. So
Yeah, yeah. That's
she
see,
said, "No."
that's the proper way to use a cat ball to test a cat ball. I can't stand cat balls, by the way. I don't use
Yeah.
them. I used to use them one time, and I tried to prove a point to everybody, like how like they are like the least important paranormal tool you can have. I'd sit in the back room and I'd be like, spirits, and every time I did it, the cat ball would go off.
Mhm.
Half the audience is like, Sean, that's amazing. The other half is like, yo, it's his vibration
It
setting
was
off
the
the cat ball.
vibration. Yeah.
But you were still, I mean, it looked like you were still to me and you were just tapping on everything and nothing was going off.
I was gonna
So,
say, did I laugh really loud? Let's try this. Let's try it
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Ha 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 ha.
yeah, yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are
I'm telling you,
really hard.
you weren't paying attention to what I was saying.
She maybe she's flirting with you. She doesn't usually
She
doesn't
might be.
like men, but you said you got the riz, maybe.
Yeah, I got spiritual riz. I got spiritual riz.
Berta.
It's wild. And I tell them, like, hey, listen, spirits, I'm a happily married man. That makes them push even harder.
Oh boy, I'm waiting for a flashlight to go off. It's right there. I'm waiting.
Is the flashlight,
It's a twisty.
it's a twisty?
Mhm. So
Sweet.
she turned it off. She's turned it on a few times and then she'll turn it off, but it doesn't happen on command. I'll just leave it some days if I'm just cuz I don't they're not dancing monkeys. So I'll just leave stuff out and leave and go about my life and just live my life and then come in and it's on. I'm like, "Oh, hey, thanks for turning that on. Can you turn it off?" And then it'll go bloop and I'm like, "Thank you." And then
So,
just
hey, you want to see something cool? In this room, I have tons of stuff, right? I literally have tons of stuff. I have tons of
Mhm.
haunted objects. I got a haunted mask on that mirror there. That door mirror is original to the build of the structure, by the way. I
Oh,
have tons of dolls and stuff over here, right? Tons of stuff over here. Mirrors, old mirrors all over this place. Have you ever seen a bell? Have you ever seen like the dead bell?
yeah, I
Like
have one.
you have one?
Yeah, it's right.
Check.
It's right
Do you want?
next.
Do you want to see something cool?
Yeah.
Check this out. I got one right here on the charger. All right. Let's see if it does it. No pressure, spirits. That's what happens when you fill a room with tons of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
They'll tap it till it stops working. And it just clicks.
We had one do that at the Crescent. It was only in one spot in the whole room.
Yeah. Is that insane?
See that? Like we had that happen in one spot in the whole room, and we were on the floor looking under the bed to see if there was like some kind of plug under the floor.
Yeah.
We could not figure it was just one spot
Uh,
in the room.
That's where the
Huh.
spirit is.
Ooh,
With
that just gave me chills.
that energy. Isn't that
You have
wild?
do you have something negative in there? Like something
A lot of negative things. Yeah.
okay, because my ears were like wah wah. I feel a lot of energy. Not all of it is bad, but when
No,
you're pivoting
exactly. You nailed
around,
it
it
on the
was
head there.
like
Not all of it's bad, but there is a lot of stuff here. That's because of the history that happened. The man who
okay.
lived here was not a good person and did a lot of horrible stuff to women and children. So
Ah,
yeah. It
well,
was bad. But and plus
like
there's all
that.
these items in here and all this stuff
Right.
in here. But some of the spirits are good. Like when I first moved the family out of here, for weeks, all they asked were where my wife was, where my son was, where my daughter was.
Yeah.
My oldest son decided to stay here. He was like, I'm 18. I can get my own room. I can live on my own. And I'm like, yeah, if you want to stay here, you go for it, And he's like, I'm going to stay here. He's starting regretting that because at times things will start pounding on his door.
Yes.
You know, all the things that he thought were just, his little sister, his little brother, or, the cats and things like that. It's like, no, no, those were the spirits,
Wow.
you
Well,
know?
let me ask you this because I know you use apps. I can tell through your videos you
Yes.
use apps.
Yeah.
I use apps too. I love them. I've had too many things happen to just write them off. You know what I mean? How is the response from people with you using apps?
So I get a lot of flack for using apps, but what I like to do is I like to remind people of the times table with all this. When apps weren't when all it was EVPs,
Hmm.
right? And those were the gold standard. And then people started manipulating radios to communicate with the dead. People were just like, that's just AFM radio. That's bullshit. Right.
Hmm.
When portal boxes came out, when it's like, okay, I can hook up, a reverb pedal and this and that and create a portal box using one of those radios. People were like, oh, those are bullshit. Those are gimmicky. The regular handheld radio and EVPs are still the gold standard. Then when the apps came out, everybody switched their tune. They're like, no, EVPs, radios, and portal boxes. That's the gold standard. The
Right.
apps are bullshit.
Yep.
If you think that an EVP and an app, if you think an app is bullshit, but an EVP is not, or an app is bullshit and an SP7 is not, that logic is broken. It makes absolutely no sense. And
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it. And that's the way I explain it. So to further prove this theory, I use competing apps. So I will use one app made by one company and
Hmm.
another app made by another company. And when both those apps are talking about the same
The
thing,
same thing.
what does that mean? Are they still bullshit? Oh, you don't believe me? Well, here, let's fire up an SF, P7 and see what happens. Now, I don't use any of those, even though I like the guy who made it, Gary, awesome dude. We've had him on Splintered Spirits. We've had him on the podcast.
Oh, cool.
His episode's going to be coming out soon.
Awesome.
It's the noise
Yes.
that drives me nuts.
Drives me crazy. My ADHD, ooh,
Yes, yes, can't handle it.
can't
And
handle it.
I used to have to deal with that back in the day, but now that I don't have to and I have the apps, I am all for it. I
Yes.
am all for it. So that's my stance on the apps. I think the
Yes.
apps are just another tool,
Yes. It's a
and
tool.
like any tool, it could be used improperly
Right.
and it could be used poorly.
Yes.
And it's to understand the difference between a tool being used properly and a tool being
Mhm.
used poorly. And that's where it just comes down to.
I agree with that completely because you can have things that manipulate equipment and like walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Walkie-talkies are something that you might not see and they can set equipment off and give you a bunch of false positives. And just like I always tell people because I've been very open about the apps when I use them, people they will be like, "Well, it's software, it's man-made." And I'm thinking all of this stuff is man-made, but okay.
All the stuff's man-made.
But then I'm like, "Listen, take it just like you would anything else. It is made by a person. It is on your phone.
Yep,
Not everything is paranormal, and not
yep.
everything that you might get off of the app is going to be true. There could be software kicking in, sure, but I know in my personal experience, I've had too many things come out of that I
Yeah.
wasn't talking about, that I don't talk about, then all of a sudden it's talking about my friend that died when she was 17. We were almost 18 years old and she died in a car accident. And this is what, 22, 23 years later, and it's talking about how she hit a tree and died in a car wreck.
Wow.
Like, I'm
Yeah, that's
sorry.
insane.
That to me is moving and it's powerful and it was on an app.
And then another argument I have towards the whole thing is what is said and what comes out of these apps can be very self-sabotaging.
Yes.
When you're monetized, it can be very, very self-sabotaging. Like I don't want the spirit to turn around and be like, hey, you fat fuck. It
I was
does.
watching your videos today.
They do.
They're quite direct.
They do, and the problem is that those videos don't get monetized, but that's my other problem too. Like I still haven't been able to walk that fine line. I document the paranormal. That is first and foremost my number one goal. That
I
goes
like
above
that.
everything. It shouldn't, like now that I have this, multi-platform, paranormal juggernaut happening, I should be more, hey, John, you need to be about the content and be conscientious of what you're putting out there. And then it's like, yeah, but that goes against what I'm originally here for. I'm originally here to document. So if spirits are going to call me a fat fuck, guess what? That's getting made a clip and I'm putting it out there.
You're like, I'm laughing. It's fine with me.
Yeah. So,
What, what was one I watched today? You were cooking lasagna soup, and
yes.
and you were like, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
yeah, I've had them call me names like my house ghost right before I sold the house. It was like the day before I went in to do one final walkthrough, clean up. I
This was
left them
Wayne.
presents.
You said
Yes,
Wayne?
Wayne,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was leaving the new owners some presents, and I had the talker running. I had my necrometer or necrometer, whichever one you want to call it. I've heard it both ways. I have no clue how you're supposed to say that. But
I
so
call it necrometer, but honestly, I pronounce things wrong all the time, so it could be necrometer.
I call it necrometer too, and I've been corrected. I'm like, listen,
Hmm.
I don't care. You know what I'm talking about.
Tomato, tomato. Exactly. You know what
Yeah.
we'll get into that in a minute. We'll get into
You
that
know
in a
what I'm
minute.
talking about. So I had it running and I was looking out in the backyard. And so Wayne had this beautiful backyard. It was like an enchanted backyard, like enchanted garden. But we had to clean it out because it was overgrown. Nobody lived there for 4 years. So at one point it was beautiful and now it was just a problem. So throughout the time we lived there, we clear cut it. And I was standing there looking, kind of like chuckling because it pissed him off when we clear cut the yard. And it said backyard. And I wasn't talking, and that doesn't have access to microphone or location. I know it's on a device, but it's not supposed to have access to any of my data like that. And so, how did it know I was looking out the window, looking at the backyard? And then it said, I'm in the backyard. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then I made them like a scented warmer, and I was smelling it, not talking. It was just me. I just had it running, and it goes, I like that smell. And I was like, and then I was leaving and it said, I miss my family. And then I got in the car to leave and it goes, bitch. And I was like, okay.
There you go.
Bye,
There
Wayne.
you go. See, but that's awesome. Like that. And there are people that would dispute that and
Yep.
be like, oh, it's just coming from an app, so it's bullshit. And it's like, how?
How did it know I
How?
was looking out the window?
Especially, but let's say you did have location turned on, and
Mhm.
let's say it had access to your camera.
Right.
Was that phone staring into the backyard? I
Nope.
guarantee it wasn't. It was on the table looking up at the ceiling, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was just sitting there and I was walking around doing stuff.
So how does it know? How does it know? Even if it did have all those things on. And that's crazy. And by the way, back to the other point. Anybody who interrupts a conversation to correct you, okay, is the real idiot. Okay. I'm
Damn it.
sorry. And I'm gonna get very blatant with this because I can't stand that. I say things wrong all the time.
Well, I do too.
If you understand what I'm saying, do not stop the conversation to correct me.
I have people that will comment on my podcast on Spotify that I pronounce Nevada wrong. And I don't address it. If
How's
y'all are
that supposed to
listening,
be
you're hearing it now.
pronounced?
I have no clue. Nobody will tell me how it's actually supposed to be pronounced, but they are telling me
Nevada,
how it's
Nevada,
wrong.
right? Oh, because it's Nevada. It's the same thing. We know
Yeah,
what it is.
you
We
know
know
what
what
I'm
it
talking
is.
about. You know I'm talking about the state where Las Vegas is. Okay?
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
You know how
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's just like you're interrupting an intellectual conversation and interjecting your idiocy into this. Okay.
like you know what I meant. You know what I mean? That was probably my most listened to episode I've had so far. It was about the Washoe Club. And I think it was because so many people were commenting that I was saying Nevada wrong. And I'm like, listen, I am 41. I'm not going to change the way I say Nevada now. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Nobody will even tell me how to say it right. You're just going to comment. Guess what? I can read.
Yeah. I do read. Yeah, we get it.
I don't even hear
Uh,
like a hard A. What does that mean?
yeah. We're conversationists. Has to do with our age. You know that, right?
Probably.
We're both basically the same age.
Yes.
We grew up in a time where we don't need any of this shit.
Nope.
We don't need the phones. We don't need anything. People get on me all the time because they'll text me, they'll call me and I don't answer them back. And I'm just
Leave me alone.
I don't need this. I'm not glued to my phone. Like I grew up at a time when I didn't need this stuff. I know
Yeah.
how to live. And one of those things, we're having a conversation with people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this is how I live. And goes back to privacy and stuff like that. Like, I don't like being connected all the time. I don't owe anybody a response. Just because it's emergency to you doesn't mean it's an emergency to me. I will get to
Yes.
you when I'm available. And
Yes.
technology has kind of blurred that line a lot because you're so connected. But I will, because I have my watch, so I know when stuff's coming through. And I'm like, that is not important to me right now. Like, I'm in the
Yeah.
middle of doing something. I will answer them when I have time, unless it's like
Yes.
somebody's like in a real emergency. You know what I mean? You know
Yeah.
what I
Oh,
mean.
yeah.
You know
I
what I
know. I know exactly what you mean. It is so true. It is so true. And it's just sometimes, listen, for my mental health, I disconnect.
Yes,
I disconnect.
me too. One question that I was meant to ask you earlier, and then we got spiraled and we just kept on
Yeah,
going.
I'm down. I'm down. Whatever you want to ask.
When you were talking about your friend that passed away,
Mhm.
do you feel him a lot?
No,
No? Okay.
no. So I don't have any abilities or anything special like that. The only thing that I have is that, and I think we all have this.
Mhm.
It's the only way I can describe it is if somebody walks into a room and the whole entire atmosphere changes. I get that. I get that all the time. So I can tell when things are going on and this,
Yes.
that, and the other.
They're sentient.
Yeah. So and that's always, I can always like I could be in a bar and I have my back to the door
Yes. You just know.
and the bar can be packed and somebody will walk in that I don't like or that I really do like, or, that I haven't seen in a while and I can feel it. And I'm like, oh, wait, who's here?
Yeah.
And I get that. I get that with the living and the dead. And I used to be able to use it when I was a contractor. If I was doing service calls and I go to someone's house, knock on the door, ring the doorbell, no answer, my partner would think I'm crazy because I put my hand on the door. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, hold on, I'm going to tell you if someone's in this house right now or not. And then they're like, you're nuts. And then what do you know? I'd be like, hold on, let's bang again. Do. I'm coming. I'm sorry. I'm in the bathroom. And it's like, and then they look at me and I'm like, I told you. It's like you could tell, I think everybody has that as a human being.
We do. You just have to be aware of it. That's that
Yes.
clairsentient. I think everybody is. You just have to be aware of it and open to it because I think it's easy just to write off or, blame it on something else. But the
Yeah.
reason I ask is because when you started talking about him and you were telling him that you didn't agree with what he was doing, and I got full body chills, and all I heard was you were right.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He was one of the I met him through TikTok. When I first started doing paranormal TikTok, it was me, him, and a couple other people. And we were the big ones. And now everybody and their mother does it, right? I mean, it's
Yes.
it's oversaturated. It's everywhere.
Yes.
But
Here I am.
it was we would have conversations about it all the time. And I'm just like, yo, homie, stop faking your shit. Stop it. You're gonna get caught. People are gonna know you don't need when it's slow, just be yourself.
It's okay if it's slow. It's normal.
Yes. That's another thing too, I know you gotta go, but it is such a pain in the ass when you're doing anything and you have an audience and it's slow.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, it's slow. They're not talking." Well, what do you want them to do? You want them to adhere to your every whim?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
They
exactly
do.
what it is. And it's like,
Exactly what
this
it is.
is this is real. I can't control this. I can't
Right.
do anything to make the spirits do what they're gonna do. There's nothing I can do about it. Sorry that they're not up to your expectations tonight.
Oh,
Come back
boy.
in an hour. Maybe they'll be more
Maybe
talkative.
they'll wake up. Maybe they aren't talking because 'cause you're here, Janice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Poor
yeah,
Janice. I think I'm picking on Janice today. I don't know a Janice, but if you're listening, thank you.
yeah. Meanwhile, there's a spirit named Janice behind you.
She
You
keeps
know,
saying my name. Hmm.
you think they
Well, John, tell everybody where they can find you. If they just love you like I do and they want to come and support you, where can they find you?
So I stream on TikTok and YouTube nightly. Santa Paranormal. I'm always live 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I sometimes start a little bit beforehand, but you can always find me on TikTok and YouTube, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, if you want more even after that, my podcast, Splintered Spirits, available everywhere podcasts are available.
They're
And
amazing.
that's it. And
All
I'm
right.
I'm on everything. You can find me everywhere.
Well,
Everywhere you can find Santa Paranormal.
I will have it all linked for you. And while you're there checking him out, make sure that you are liking, subscribing, commenting, and doing all the things because it really does make a difference. It might
Yeah.
not seem, if you're ever wondering, how can I support a creator without buying their merch, without sending them gifts, without doing this and that? Just watching a video all the way through or liking and commenting is that truly does more than what you see.
Yeah,
Because
helps out so much.
the longer the video you watch, like you think that you're just liking your friend's stuff and then scrolling on. What you're doing if you don't watch it all the way through is you're telling the platform that this video isn't worth watching all the way through. So if you go and like and support and watch all the way through, even if you got to watch at 2 point whatever speed, and just whatever, if your ADHD can handle that, you go for it. But yes, while you're checking John out and Santa Paranormal, check me out too, Ghost Gossip Pod, Ghost Gossip Podcast, and you can email all your ghost gossip to ghostgossip247@gmail.com. Until next time, they'll see you later.